What's up, you guys? It's Matt here. So in previous videos, I've talked about the burn rates and how, we can see certain things at certain levels depending on what the volume is, whatever the price is, and also looking at the exchanges and saying, if we see the burns that are implemented on the exchanges, this is what we're going to see that takes place. Well, I've broken down things in the past, so I'm going to look at some of those numbers that we saw in the past, obviously factor in a lot of the variables that take place or that took place, and how the variables didn't really go the way that we all hoped for them to go. I mean, eventually it could get to that point, but right now we're kind of like backtracking a little bit, I guess, going to a place where kind of not even a tenth of where we thought that we would be at. So, anyways, guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell for more videos like this one. We're going to be talking about burning off 99% and how long it's going to take. I know the title may shock you because I mean, it's a pretty big number that we see when it comes to the total amount that's there. So, guys, hit the like button again, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell for more videos like this one. Also, if you guys want to check out my Patreon, my Twitter, feel free to check those out. Links are in the description for both of those. But let's talk about burning off 99%. You know, the goal for us is to burn 99% of this position, probably 99.9% of this position, down to a lower point to where we get back to normal, I guess. See this around, 100 to 10 to 1 billion coins in supply, which will take us a long time to do because if we have volume, we're going through every transaction and we can burn it, will take us a while, right? If we had more of a burn, it would take us less time, but obviously we're looking for something that's consistent, something that doesn't grow too much, and you see a larger drop because of that increase that was way too fast. So with that, again, I come up with all different types of spreadsheets, all different types of scenarios that it's not 100% that these things are going to go through. And I talk about it all the time. And I make sure before I go through the spreadsheet, I let people know that there are variables. And these variables are depending on outside parties, right? Looking at CEXs, looking at individual investors, looking at, whatever, looking at whatever the burn percentage is going to be, volume as well. So many different pieces that you really have to align the correct way in order to see everything play out the right way. So it's not absolutely perfect, and it's probably a high chance that it will not play out that exact way, because if everybody can predict exactly what's going to happen here, then everybody would make a ton of money here. Every single person. Now, some people are going to make more than others. Other people are going to make way less than the normal amount. But let's go through this. So if you aren't familiar, I don't know why this came up. Let's go ahead and change the screen, because for some reason it's not giving me the right screen. But if you're familiar with this spreadsheet, I only had this part here where I basically went through the on-chain burns, went through all burns there at the 1.2% at a price of 0.00027. Now, currently the price is lower, but we're going to keep it at that price just to make things seem a little bit normal. Now, my expectation before going into the burn tax was to keep sort of the on-chain volume similar, right? I expected to see it around 300 billion coins that were being traded on chain. And I wanted to dial that down a bit, maybe split it in half and say at the worst case scenario, this is what we would see. No way did I expect them to put limits on the amount that they can withdraw, maybe even having high fees in some of these CEXs, and people willing or not willing to trade on chain because of the fact that they just want to do everything on Binance Convert and all of these other places that offer it for free, right? And I understand, I guess, because greed is a killer, right? Greed is understandable. You want to make sure you make as much money as possible. Think about yourself before you think about others. I totally understand that. I kind of do the opposite, unless I'm talking about my bills. I pay my bills first, and then I jump into things that will help other people out. This is why I create these videos. Now, on-chain volume was around 1.6 trillion that we did end up seeing for a little bit. Let's say that all volume actually has decreased, which it has. We've seen it at an average of around 300 to 500 million, and then lately it's been a lot lower. But let's say that it is at 500 million now. So before we were seeing 1.6 trillion in total volume. You could see the 160 billion in on-chain volume, which accounted for, if you look at it for the amount that would burn off per day, it would be 1.9 billion that can burn off per day with just that on-chain volume, which means that in 10 years, this can really happen, right? Now, add all burns. Let's say if we could see all volume with the 1.2% with Binance and KuCoin and all of these, you'd be looking at 19.2 or 1 year for this to absolutely burn off. Now, this is an absolutely perfect method. We know that KuCoin hasn't really mentioned anything with the 1.2% burn. Now that we're seeing things kind of change and go to a 0.2% burn, well, now we have to factor that into it and see how long it's going to take for this 99% to end up getting burned off. Now, this is not the end all be all to say that this is the only option. And as you can see, you can probably go down the screen and look at exactly where I'm going with this. But here we have the current visual and things, and we can see 500 million in volume, which could be 6 billion that we could burn every day. With all volume, it could take 3 years for that to play out. That wouldn't be bad, right? With the 1.2%. Then you see the on-chain volume where you're about 20 billion and you only see 240 million that can be burned every day, which would take 78 years for this to play out, or 200 or sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. 28,750 days for this to play out. So 78 years, most of us will be very, very old, and some of us may even be deceased. So that's not going to happen. We need to see levels to where we can burn that off a lot faster. Popularity is gone probably within 5 to 10 years. So if it's not going to make any type of moves and have no utility, now if it is going to have utility, popularity can live on. But I think we still need to see burns consistently to see it get to a certain level. And obviously, cryptocurrency will be at probably all-time highs again in 78 years. But if we scroll down here and we want to look at the comparison, because now we're changing to 0.2, and the way that we can get this to be sort of similar, right, is we need to see kind of a 6x in volume. Don't pay attention to all the volume here. Just pay attention to on-chain volume. We need to see a 6x in the overall amount of volume. While we're seeing right now on-chain volume is around 20 billion, we need to see 120 billion, and we need to see that increase by 6x for the overall amount of on-chain volume, which could be possible, right? We've seen it decrease by a hell of a lot, way more than dividing by 6. It was probably divided by like 10 or 20 because it went from 300 plus billion coins in on-chain volume down to 20 billion coins, and even less than that sometimes, 11 billion coins. So we're not seeing enough on-chain volume. So even with that, we're looking at the same amount. Just to be able to get us to the same amount, we need to see that 6x, and that will get us to the 28,750 days. Now, if we can see volume increase even more and get back to a form of being normal in a way, I just got to take that out. Let me Control Z. If we go back to a form of normalcy, right, where it's 300 billion, well, now we can have it happen in 29 years. So as we see more that's burning or different things that are burning, not only the 0.2% for on-chain, but we're also seeing the other portion with Binance, with KuCoin, with Gate.io, hopefully, then we could see much more that ends up burning off. So I'm not saying that it's physically only going to take 28,750 days for this to completely play out. Let's just say that this is the worst case scenario, that it's just going to get better as we see more CEXs that are going to get on board. And I always like to display the worst case scenario, because if I display the worst case scenario, you can really only go up from there. So when we see 78 years, let's hope for 29. Let's hope for 20. Let's hope for 10. Let's hope for 3. And obviously, with everything that's in the works, I think we're probably going to end up burning off a lot sooner than that. But this is just scenarios that are in place that depend on different variables. If it's just on-chain burns, this is what we can expect. Obviously, if we see more volume and we see a buy button that's added to TerraStation, we may see more volume that flows through TerraStation, right, or on-chain. If we see things added to MetaMask to where you can trade on-chain, that's a different story. We see all these exchanges getting on board with doing the 0.2% rather than this fee situation that they're doing. They're doing 0.2% because it's at a lower fee. Everybody agrees to it. yeah, we can see things burn off a lot faster. But that's only if they do that. So anyways, guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell for more videos like this one. Let me know what you think about this. I know some people are going to be upset with anything that I put out, and some people will just appreciate the fact that I'm talking about like kind of the worst level that we can expect, or the worst situation that we can expect, so that we can hope for the best, right? But anyways, like I said, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.